Hi guys, this is Pax Europiana, Günther is here. I'm talking now about Ukraine here from the snowy Austria. I'm in safety here in Austria, and obviously it's a good condition here for me. Whenever it's quite snowy and quite impressive, winter condition for mid of April here. We are in 2021 and we really have quite a lot of snow. And what I would like to talk and show you a bit of this mountain area, the beautiful landscape. I would also talk about Ukraine, because it's really very problematic situation we have today, because Ukraine is in a deep crisis. Russia is aggressing Ukraine, and we wouldn't be in that mess if we had better policy already back then in 2008, taking Ukraine in NATO. And that was the Bucharest summit and the big defeat. What I want to talk now is the Adriatic Charter. Doesn't seem like the Adria here. But what I really think is necessary to explain is that the Adriatic Charter is the right integration model for NATO, because we have had good success. In the past it was the Lithuanian and the Vilnius dialogue for NATO opening, but now it's the Adriatic Charter, because NATO has changed. All the Central and Eastern European countries, so most of them are already in NATO. And now it's very important to use the dialogue which is working so well for Macedonia, North Macedonia, for Albania, for Montenegro, for Croatia. And that was a major success in the last 15 years. Yeah? So we have now the last new members is Montenegro and North Macedonia. And this is the Adriatic Charter dialogue. Yeah? And so it's so important for Ukraine and Georgia and Moldova to join in that dialogue forum, and the American Defense Department is organizing that. And it's important that the Americans take the leadership, take these three countries, Moldova, Ukraine, Georgia, in the Adriatic area. You don't need to invent the wheel new, because the dialogue is there. And also Serbia and Bosnia are in this dialogue, and Serbia is in that sense a neutral country, not an applicant country, so Moldova can join as well. And we should include this country in the working structures, because it makes no sense to have a new kind of dialogue extra for Ukraine, and that's all very confusing and complicated. When there is a working dialogue, some people make the joke, what is the Adriatic Charter, why it's called a charter? Is basically a basic fundament of a principle. It's nothing to do with sailing. Idea is that you have this regular consultation meeting, the progress with the experts to bring the countries forward towards accession of NATO. And that's why I call so much for the Adriatic Charter. We don't need a new Black Sea Charter, we don't need to be complicated. It's called Adriatic Charter. Fine for Ukraine, fine for Moldova, fine for Georgia. And this dialogue is an American-led dialogue, so we don't have to ask anybody. You know, the Americans don't have to ask the Germans or Paris or Macron what he thinks about it or not. No, that's all not necessary. There is this dialogue. It's only the American Defense Department. It's inviting the ones it wants to invite, and it's already happening all the time. And they get trained, the officials get trained, the Defense Department officials get trained. So it's the Adriatic dialogue. And here the success: Croatia, Albania in 2009, Montenegro in 2017, North Macedonia in 2020, and hopefully now soon Bosnia, and then maybe one day Serbia. And in the meantime, the dialogue is open for Moldova, Ukraine and Georgia. So let's get it done. It's such a perfect way to do it. And I don't understand why we are somehow so reluctant to engage in that one. And you know, then I see all these Atlantic Council dialogues about, you know, the Black Sea. You know, it's good, the Black Sea, but it's a very complicated area. And you know, we cannot treat the Black Sea countries with Russia, Turkey, and with whatever Azerbaijan as all one. It's much too diverse, much too complicated. In the Adriatic, we have clarity now. There's only the problem of Serbia, but we can get, I think that maybe the Serbs are blocking Ukraine. Is it like this? Is it part of appeasement that we don't get Ukraine, Georgia and Moldova into the Adriatic dialogue in order to appease Serbia? But that shouldn't be the case. Yeah? I think it should not be the Serbs making our policy, but the Americans deciding who they invite to their dialogue. And if Serbia is there, I think Ukraine, Moldova and Georgia can be very well as well in that dialogue, and best also Azerbaijan. Yeah? I think it's not necessary to create new dialogues when we have one exactly working fine and beautiful, and that's the Adriatic Charter. So even when it's here now very snowy and I'm in the middle of neutral Austria, and I really hope that also Austria will be invited, because that's also my call. I have now very often made already the call for inviting also the neutrals to the Adriatic Charter. It's nice Austria to join Adriatic Charter, nobody will be against it, yeah, and that's basically a very good format for Sweden, for Finland, for Ireland, for Cyprus, and for Austria and for Malta to join that Adriatic Charter. Now we have, it was called A5, A6, yeah, so why not get Ukraine, Moldova and Georgia into, then maybe Azerbaijan, +4 and +6 EU neutrals, then it's basically 10, and so we have 15, 16 countries in the Adriatic Charter. There's a lot of place in Tirana for such meetings, and then to have a permanent secretariat, yeah, maybe in Tirana would be very good, you know, and maybe in Montenegro would be very good. Yeah, we could also imagine that one, and that would be like a southern headquarter of NATO by time, maybe in the NATO port Bar. Anyhow, the idea, if you look at the US Defense Department website, you will see Adriatic Charter. What I mean, this is the perfect experts, this is the learning base, and it would be perfect to base it in Bar, in Montenegro, permanently, and to develop it in a own kind of regional organization. Maybe it's also possible. We can also call it Adriatic Black Sea Charter, if that's more meaningful then for everybody. I have no problem with the names. It's not such a formalized thing. The idea is that all the future NATO allies to work together with the existing NATO allies, and to work together on specific regions, and to have a preparation process of accession, because that also is necessary. Georgia is already ready, Bosnia is very advanced, Ukraine has to go, Moldova has to go somewhere away. But when I see now that the Russians are aggressing us and building up all this army in order to show their might, yeah, then I can just say we should at least institutionally respond decently, and by allowing Ukraine in NATO and in Bosnia obviously, and Georgia, and also obviously Bosnia. I said Kosovo, yeah, Kosovo, it's so important on that one. I will do several interviews about that one, and several statements, but at least to have partnership for peace now for Kosovo and for Cyprus, that is a concrete answer to Russian aggression. And then also to have NATO map for Georgia, Ukraine, and also for Moldova, and for Bosnia obviously, and also for Kosovo. I think that would be so logically. And also the neutrals then starting from Finland to Sweden to Austria, Ireland, Cyprus, and to Malta to join NATO, and we will be NATO 42 countries via the Adriatic. Isn't it beautiful? I think yes, and that's exactly what we should do, and that's how I see it. And the sun is shining, my ideas seem to be accepted, the snow is over, and yeah, it's quite interesting here to see this kind of beautiful landscape, and to see also the snow and this beautiful timing here. And hopefully Austria will also join NATO, I think, and that would be really wonderful. And I hope this will come very soon, that we will join NATO, and I will do my uttermost to bring Austria in NATO as much as I can. I will be active on exactly that. So let's hope for that. And for the Adriatic Charter, please check out the Ministry of Defense website of the United States Defense Department. They explain it beautifully, and so do the Department of Defense and Foreign Affairs of Albania, Croatia, Montenegro, and Macedonia. And that's please for the Ukrainians to do. Please join the Adriatic Charter, and Poland support exactly this future for Ukraine. That will keep Ukraine safer and prepare NATO accession very efficiently. So, thanks a lot from Austria. Bye!